Okay, so this is the third part of our video where in the previous video we have seen how we can set up a Spring Boot project with Cucumber and JUnit to scaffold sort of a TDD Spring Boot project, right? And we have defined this feature file. But we have 6 steps. We have implemented the first one. We have gone through the whole red green refactor cycle for this, even though we didn't do refactoring. And as a result, when we run the integration test, we get this result, right? So the first part is passed, the second failed, right? Because we haven't implemented it, and the rest is also not implemented yet. So previously, I promised to show you guys the report, right? The report of the previous run. So here it is. Try to capture the window here. Share. Okay, there you go, right? So as you can see from this report, yeah, so it'll say 0% pass, yeah, because none of the scenarios have passed yet. One executed already, which is this one. It was last run 4 seconds ago, and it took this long to run. Okay, right. So let's get back to our code. Where is it? This one. Okay. All right. So okay. The other thing that I've done is I have committed the change previously, right? So if you look at this Git history, so you'll see that this is what I have committed just a while ago, right? So I annotate it with green because that's what we've done, right? We've passed the green part and we've done it for step 1. Okay, so let's continue with step 2. Um, Before we continue, let's have a read of what step 2 is about. Yeah, so it says I have a valid account number, blah 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 66 with a balance of 10,001, right? So what does this imply? This imply that the customer having logged in with this credential, he will then go to his account balance, go and look at this account balance in the app or in web, right? Where the application will basically do a sort of account balance inquiry, yeah, and that account balance inquiry, we will manifest it in the form of a REST API. Yeah, and I think if you think about it, all of these steps, right? These are all one API each. So the user goes in, logs in with this credential, right? And then they go and look at their account balance, and then they do an inquiry of this account number to see that it actually belongs to this person. Then it will initiate a fund transfer. Then they will receive a message saying that it was successful. Then they will go and check their transaction history. So each of these behavior can be represented by a REST API. Okay. So what we'll do now is we'll try to implement the second step. Okay, so just do, why is it not okay? Show context actions, not shown. Okay, right, create step definition. Okay, so the second step is also implemented. I have a valid account number of, okay, so this is account number. And this is the balance, so it shouldn't be integer. And it shouldn't be double also lah. It should be big decimal, right? So it's account balance. Otherwise, this step 1 is here, right? So this becomes big decimal. Okay. usual, throw new pending exception. And then we run. Kind of find with the same. We run again. Okay. Okay, right. This one part fail, haven't implemented yet. Okay. Right, so this is a REST API. So this is going to be the first function that we're going to actually write in this project, right? So let's think about it. What should be the API, right? So it's obviously an account balance inquiry. The domain is account, right? And what we're trying to do is inquire the balance. So I think the API, right, should be something like as usual v1 accounts, right? Then the account number, right? Account number. Yeah, balance inquiry. And it should be a get lah. Okay, this is the API that we're going to call. But how we're going to call it, right? Since this test rig is in the same project as the actual implementation, we have to mock the API. Yeah, basically we have to not really mock the API lah. We will call the API and do an assertion on that API. But to do that, we need this thing called MockMvc. MockMvc, MockMvc should be auto-wired. Okay, so what we will do is let's see, okay. Okay, of course, we're going to call the MockMvc now. MockMvc dot perform. Okay, what we will perform? We will perform a get operation, right? So use the MockMvc dot get. So to get lah, get what? Get this URL. Okay. I'm sorry, get the URL. Get the URL. I think we need to import this first, otherwise it won't recognize. Okay. And expect. What do we expect? We should expect the status, right? We should expect the status as status is okay. That's minimal. That's the minimal condition. Okay, status is basically this. This one is error. Oops. Where will this now try catch? So of course this will not return okay, right? It will return fail if we just try to run this. it say? Converted argument, error creating bin MockMvc. Oh, okay. Yeah, we need to. Okay, we need to add another. Okay, the config, right? We have to auto configure MockMvc. Still fail. Oh, what is that? String format. Oh, okay. A number. Okay, all right. That's great. That's great. So what else should we expect from this? Yeah, I think we should expect that the account balance is 10,001, right? That's what is mentioned in the feature file, right? 10,001. Okay, so let's try to implement that also. So that to implement that, we should return something. Yeah. So to make this cleaner, see result. Okay. So we need to inspect the result, right? So to inspect the result, we need to extract the JSON basically. So this API will return a JSON that minimally will return back the account number and also the account balance. Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do is we will create an account balance lah. We create an account balance object, right? Account balance object. Yeah. Let's just call this balance lah. Right, and this one is account balance. Okay. And so what is account balance? Account balance is a new class. We'll create a class. Where do we create it? We create it in here. Okay, what should be an account balance? So like I said, string account number and account balance. There you go. Okay, that an account balance, is that right? Yep. Okay. I think since Java 11, I preferred to use a record rather than a class, right? So just use this to record. Yeah, and then we'll say, so there are two fields here. We'll say account number and account balance, or just balance, or available balance. right? Okay, cool. So we got that ready. So account balance in this case would be cast from the JSON response to an MVC result. So the MVC result dot what do we call that? Get response, right? Get response dot get as get content as string, yeah. But this yeah, I think this is okay, and match. So we need to use object mapper. Right, the object mapper will read the result, read value of this, but you need to specify the class. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's try to run that. Okay, okay, all right. So that failed, right? So it says expected 200 but was 404. So this assertion already failed. It didn't even go here. But as far as the test case is concerned, okay, just one more thing, right? So you also have to assert that, right? Account balance dot available balance, right, is equal to balance, or yeah, so let's just call this expected balance. Okay. Okay, so we have our test case already. I think if you run it again, it will fail also, that's for sure, but that's fine. So let's just commit this, right? Let's commit this and this. So where is this again? Account balance, this, and the steps. No, actually, the steps. It should be. Current only. Name it to this is a model. Okay, let's commit that, and we'll say that this step is read. Step 2. Commit that. Oh, 3 warnings. What is that? Field can be converted to a local variable. Oh, never mind. Whatever. Okay, commit. Okay, let's try to pass this now, right? So to be able to pass this, we need to write the implementation. Okay, so we'll go here, we'll create a package called controller yeah, and then we'll create a class called account controller, balance controller, account controller, account controller. Okay, so this is a REST controller. Right, so what do we do? Request wrapping first, value. So that one just now was v1 counts. Okay. Right. We'll create a get mapping of what do we call it just now? Account number. Account number slash balance inquiry. Let's just have a quick check. Accounts number balance inquiry. Yeah. And we'll response entity will return account balance. Right, so get account balance. What is the request path? Is path variable called account number. Okay. Oh, sorry. Account number is a string. Okay, so minimally this will return, in order to pass that test cases now, it will return a new response entity, right? With HTTP status okay lah. HTTP status dot okay. Okay, so if we have to go back, okay, let's put the test here, the implementation here, so it's clearer. Okay, so this is the test, right? This is the implementation. Okay, let's try to run that again. Hopefully this one passes the first assertion. Okay, so it passes the first assertion, but it failed the second one. Right, throws a runtime exception because Jackson failed to map because there was no content, right? Because we only return HTTP status okay with nothing. Okay, it is cool. So we'll try to get that pass, right? By doing the bare minimal, right? So remember we have to do the bare minimal first, which is to pass the test, right? And in order to pass that, we'll create a so we'll just return this here. We'll just say new account balance, right, with account number and account balance as the decimal dot value of 1001. value of oh no. Okay lah, just decimal, right? Okay, let's run that. Boom, right? So the second one also passed the test case, although we cheated a bit, right? But at least we have some idea about how the API and the what the test result should look like. So we've hit green for the second one. I think with that we can, yeah, although it's not very, this is not the correct way of doing it still, right? But we can still commit this as a green. So let's just do that. It's debatable lah, yeah. You might want to commit, you don't want to commit, you want to implement it properly, then you commit. It's up to you. There's no right or wrong lah, as long as you follow that cycle. Okay, so step 2 is also green now, right? Go to Git, you see that, okay, step 2 red, now step 2 is green already. Okay, now we refactor, we implement it properly, right? So let's think. To do this properly, right? In banking, in the banking organization, normally this application like Jambala is just a channel. So it's going to talk to a core banking system. So the core banking system normally is not accessible directly, right? Via a direct API call. So there will be some sort of middleware in between, right? So it's something like channel calls middleware, calls core banking. And the middleware can be a lot of things, but I think the most popular one is this ESP lah, right? ESP, they will do the translation of the message uh, from open system messages, right? Like JSON, SOAP, whatever, and translates it into the message that is more palatable for core banking. So let's just have that as an assumption, which means that this application will call a middleware called ESP, Enterprise Service Bus. Okay, but before we even go there, right, I think we should do the hygiene, which is controller shouldn't even be doing all this, right? It should be handled in this application itself. It should be handled by the service layer, something in the service layer lah. So let's just put that in. So let's say we're going to have an account service, right? Account service. Yeah. It's something that is not available yet. So we'll create that. We'll create that in service. Okay, so it's straightforward. It's the service. So what does the service do? So what I'm going to do is this service will inquire is well, it will just serve the controller like basically it will provide a method that retrieves the account balance based on the account number. Okay, so let's write the test case first. Okay, let's generate the constructor first lah. Okay, Now this account service, let's generate the test. Yeah, we're gonna use J4. Let's call it account service should. Yeah, account service should. In terms of the project, this is in here. Okay, account service should. That is fantastic. Okay, we will do a lot of mocking here, right? Because we know that we're going to call ESB from here. So let's run this with MockitoJunitRunner. All right. What should account service do? Account service should return account balance lah. This most basic. Yeah. Okay. We annotate this as a test method. Okay. So if let's say the account balance that we expect is 10,001, right? So it should return 10,001 also. Okay. So account service. Okay, we haven't defined that account service. The object under test is account service, right? Account service dot get we don't have that. Get balance, right? Get balance where there is an account number. Account number put as a global, right? Account number. Okay. Account number. So this is not implemented yet. So what it will do is this will return. We will return this object, right? Account balance equals to this. Okay. So what is the expected balance that we are expecting based on the test case? Expected balance is the decimal dot value of So we should assert that account balance dot get available balance, yeah, is equals balance, yeah. Is equal to what? Okay, so let's try to implement this first lah. Okay, this method get balance. This get balance method. Okay, let's make sure that it passes first. Okay, so this get balance will return account balance. So if we say it will return new account balance, with account number, right, and the balance as decimal value of 10,001. Okay. Why is this thing so slow? Okay, very slow. So let's just import directly. So let's say okay, now let's run this. Account service should return account balance. Cannot invoke because it's null. Okay, so we have to generate the what do you call that, the initialize the before, and so the before method lah. So we generate before just before lah. And we call it whatever. So account service static. Okay, run this again. Okay, fine, pass. Right? Okay, but we know that this is again cheating. What we should be doing is calling ESB, right? So let's create an ESB account, ESB class here. What should we call it? Account info ESB. Should they be in service? Let's just put it in services. Right, it's a component. Okay, accounting for ESB. All right. So accounting for ESB is nothing but a REST client, right? It will make a call to ESB to get the account balance. Do we need to create a test case for this? I think not lah, right? Because there's not much logic inside there also, right? It's just a REST client. If you want to, we can, but to save time, I think these REST clients interfaces to external system, we just don't do the testing for that lah. But of course, it's up to you. It's up to your judgment. If you want to do it, do it. But for the purpose of this demo, I think I will not do it lah. Okay, so what we'll do is we will try to implement this account ESB, right? Okay, so for that we need a REST template. REST template. Okay, in this REST template we will then there's a method lah. Basically, there's a method that will return the response from ESB. So the response from ESB, let's just assume that the response from ESB is the same as the response that, or maybe not lah, right? The ESB response normally has a different structure and different format than what we want to send to the front end. So let's just define another object for it, right? So we'll say ESB account info response, right? Okay, this method is called get account info. So what it will do is it will get the account number. It will get from ESB based on the account number. Okay. The numbers. Okay. No, not here. It should be in model also. Okay. Right. Should this be a record also? Maybe not lah. This should be a. Oh, it can be lah. It can be. It can be a record also. It shouldn't be a plus, right? All these DTOs, we make them. What do you call this? Records, right? So in the ESB account response, we can have account number, right? ESP might have additional info also, right? They would have available balance lah. So let's say they only have available balance. Balance. Okay. We'll return this. So what we'll do is we'll call, right, the REST template just now. We'll make a call to template.post for entity, right? The URL is URL. Okay, just basically we can parameterize it lah. Parameterize it and we call it esb.url.account service. Okay, post for entity to esb URL, right? And we'll pass a request. So the request is basically UTP entity. There's a string, right? Request equals to new UTP entity request. Okay. Right, and it expects the ESB account info as the response. Okay, this is it depends lah. To make a call to ESB, we normally have to pass a detailed request object or payload to them, right? So let's just call that as ESB account info request. Okay, which is new USB info request. Let's just create this. This should be under model. So got okay. It's a record that has a number. Okay, so this HTTP entity, I will have this string. That's it. Done. Okay, so let's define this URL in our application properties. Right, we'll call it, what was it just now? Well, HTTP localhost it's 0.10 or whatever. Account service. Right? Okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. Account service. So this should have a constructor also. Okay, so it no longer has to return this. Will return account info esv dot get account info. This is what it will return. Oh, okay. Yeah, cannot simply return that, right? So we need to do mapping. So how do we want to do this mapping? The easiest way is, account info USB account info. Okay, that is awesome. So to do this mapping, there are many ways to do it. You can do it with mapper, like mapstruct, for example. Okay, so to do that, we have to okay, let's not complicate our solution first lah. We'll just say that we'll return a new account balance with USB account info dot account number. And available balance. Okay, that is a test case. Test case should be here. Okay, so you have this error already where it's trying to get the service. So status. Okay, now ESB is something that we want to mock, right? Because this is not something that we want to write. So what we will do is we will mock ESB. How do you mock ESB? Is by annotating it with mock using Mockito. Okay, right. So ESB is mocked. But how do we mock it? How do we get this mock to return the value that we want it to return, right? Okay, so we'll set it up in the same given when then that same syntax also, right? So say given that the ESB get account info, right, by passing the account number. Okay, Mockito will return, right, ESB account info response. Okay, I think let's annotate it with builder Lombok. Okay, ESB account info dot account number is account number, available balance is no, it's not the value of given that this will return this. Okay, okay, this goes after we already have it actually expected balance. Okay. Okay, given that the mock ESB, right, will return this, right, when we do this, then we'll assert that the result of this call is equal to the expected balance. So let's just try and run that. Okay, pass. Okay, so our mocking work. All right, cool. So we got that out of the way. Let's look back at the account service. Okay, so this is account service. It's doing this already. It's returning this to the controller, right? And the controller should be returning back that account service. Okay, should be doing this. What it should be doing instead is account service dot get balance account number. So let's try to run the integration test again. What will happen? Null pointer exception. The rest template is null. Okay. Rest template is null. Okay, okay. Just need to implement this. generate a constructor this. Okay. Okay, now we have to make, okay, this will not return this line, and basically will accept custom builder, right? Custom builder that will build the rest template. And run this again. Connection refused, right? It tries to call ESP, but it gets connection refused, which is very unfortunate. Okay, so what do we do now? Now we have to mock the ESB, the actual ESB, by using WireMock. Okay. All right. Localhost. Localhost doesn't sound right. hd.ebank.co.id. Okay. Let's go back to the integration test. Okay, here. Now we need to mock the ESB at the integration test level. Just now we mock it at a JUnit level, right? Okay, so to do that, we have to basically use WireMock. Okay. Okay, so to use WireMock, we need this thing called WireMock server, right? And to do that, we need to add a few dependencies like in our project. So let's just add that dependency in. Let me see what this dependency called. Okay. Okay, now we just add a new dependency. It's from com.github. No, GitHub dot Tomahers. It's called WireMock GRE8. Correct. The latest version is 2.33.0, and the scope is just for a test. Okay. I was thinking of something just now. What was it? Okay, anyway. Okay, WireMock. So there is this thing called a WireMock server, right? call it ESB mock. Okay, WireMock server. It should run on this port 9010. Okay, and we need a before method, right? That will start the server. And after that will stop the server. Okay, how do we call this, right? So this is the expected. So let's refactor this and call it expected. Okay, so the syntax is more or less like no, this is different. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say that MockMvc, ESB mock, right? Dot say it's stub for y, right? Stub for y. Mock server dot mock dot post, right? So what is the URL? The URL is we say that if the URL path equal to account service, yeah, it will return okay. Yeah, top of that it will return okay. Okay. It's this lah. Return okay. With body. Okay, so what is the body? The body that will return is JSON representation of the ESB account response. Identification of this. So again, we'll use object mapper, right? So we say object mapper. New object mapper, right? Dot write value string. What do we write a string? ESB account info response dot builder dot account number is account number, available balance is expected balance. Okay, then build. Okay, so we know, so what we're saying here is the ESP mock will stop So the ESB mock will start, right? And when it comes to this method, it will start this account service with this response. Okay. Right. That should be it, I guess. Yeah. So let's try to run that again. Okay, still fails because it says that no suitable converter found for ESP for okay, an application of that stream. Okay. Okay, so this is where I think we should define what the header is, right? We should say that with header content type application JSON. Okay, let's run it here. Okay, cool. So the second one also passed now after we have refactored it. So the next question is, have we refactored enough? Is this correct, right? I think if you think about it, not really correct lah, yeah, because the security element is not there, right? So if you look at the account controller, right, it basically means that it didn't check for any token at all, right? It just says that any Tom, Dick, and Harry who has an account number can just call this endpoint and get the account number for that account. So what it should rightfully do is it should check the token, right? And try to make a correlation between the owner of the token and the account number, right? Before it can return this response, right? And that sort of user ID, right? Or an access number or whatever should be passed back to ESB, and ESB should take that as one of the parameter. ESB by that will not be returning account number for anyone, right? It should be an account number for a specific person. So that is something that we're going to refactor in the next video. Yeah. So before we go, I think let's just commit this. So let's just do a quick recap. So we have run step 2, we have run the rate function. We've done the green also, right? We made that test pass. So what we've done here is we have refactored. Refactored. So what we'll do is we'll say refactor step 2. And we commit. Okay, red, green, refactor, done. All 3 steps. Okay, in the next video, we'll try to refactor this account inquiry, the balance inquiry further, to embed some security feature inside it. Okay, all right. Until then, thank you very much, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.